What will your final choice be when your time runs out? It's a question we don't often think about, but it's one that matters more than anything else. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of life, facing eternity. How will you respond? This was the reality for two criminals hanging beside Jesus on the cross. Both had reached their final moments. Both had the same opportunity, but their responses, oh, they couldn't have been more different. In the shadow of the cross, a powerful moment unfolds, a moment that holds a message for each and every one of us. Two criminals, two lives, two hearts, both facing the same fate, yet making two very different choices. One, hardened by despair, mocks the Savior. His words cut through the air, dripping with defiance, a cry for salvation that wasn't born of faith, but of bitterness. And then, the other speaks. Oh, his voice wasn't loud, but it was clear, piercing through the darkness of that moment. He says, "Do you not fear God?" This question, simple yet profound, calls out not just to the man beside him, but to all of us. Do you not fear God? Have we forgotten who He is, even as we stand on the brink of eternity? This scene is more than just a historical account. It's a message, a wake-up call. These two criminals represent the choices we make every single day. One path leads to rejection and pride, where we cling to this world, refusing to surrender to the truth. The other leads to humility, to a place where we acknowledge our need for forgiveness and turn to Jesus in faith. Let me tell you something. God's justice is real. Both men face judgment for their crimes, but only one sought mercy. And isn't that the beauty of God? His mercy is always within reach. It doesn't matter how far you've gone, how broken you feel, or how dark your past is. Just like the second criminal, you can turn to Jesus, even in your final hour. But don't wait until it's too late. Do you not fear God? That question rings in my heart, because it's a call to reverence. It's a reminder that life is fleeting, and the time to choose is now. The first criminal represents a worldly mindset, a heart focused on self-preservation, pride, and mockery. But the second shows us what faith looks like. Faith doesn't need perfect circumstances. Faith doesn't wait for the right moment. Faith chooses to believe, even in the darkest hour. And what happens when we choose faith? Oh, let me tell you, there's a shift. There's a transformation that takes place. That second criminal looked to Jesus and said, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus, full of grace, replied, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." That's the promise of God. That's the hope we have in Jesus. No matter what you're going through, no matter how heavy your burdens are, He is ready to receive you, but you have to make the choice. Will you mock Him like the first criminal? Or will you humble yourself and say, "Lord, I need you. I trust you." This moment at the cross isn't just a story. It's a mirror. It's a reflection of our hearts. Which criminal are you today? Are you clinging to pride? Or are you ready to surrender? The cross shows us that even in suffering, faith shines brightest. So, let this be your moment. Let this be the day you choose reverence over rebellion, faith over fear, and Jesus over everything else. Because when you do, He will welcome you with open arms. And just like the criminal on the cross, you will hear Him say, "Today, you will be with me in paradise."